ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ श्री सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ ध्यायामि चिन्मयानन्दं गुरुदेवं महामतिं प्रेमपूर्णं क्रियाशीलं सदा लोकहिते रतं कृपालुं सुन्दराकारं समर्थं सत्यदर्शिनं वाचा तत्त्वप्रकाशिन्या शोकमोहविनाशिनम्। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय। 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 ॐ ऋतगं सत्यं परं ब्रह्मपुरुषं कृष्णपिङ्गलम् ऊर्ध्वरेतं विरूपाक्षं विश्वरूपाय वै नमो नमः। ॐ नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुः प्रचोदयात्। हरि ओम, सुप्रभातम, a warm welcome. ॐ शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभांगं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिहृद्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथम्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। 43 ॐ रामो विरामो विरजो मार्गो नेयो नयो नयः वीरशक्तिमतां श्रेष्ठो धर्मो धर्मविदुत्तमः। Vaikunthav Purushav Pranah Pranadah Pranavah Prathuh Hiranyagarbha Shatrughno Vyapto Vayuradhokshajah Ritu Sudarshanah Kalah Paramishthi Parigrahah Ugra Samvatsaro Daksho Vishramo Vishwadakshinah. We were studying this particular shloka. Ritu Sudarshanaha Kalaha Paramishthi Parigraha. This is the most beautiful nama which we are seeing yesterday. Parigraha. Bhagavan takes away all the offerings of the devotees and he never leaves anyone. His arms are so long that he takes everyone to himself and he grabs. Even if you don't give, he grabs. Therefore, he is called Parigraha. But the main thing which Bhagavan wants is our heart. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati. Patram is not important. Phalam is not important. Toyam is not important. Pushpam is not important. But all when it is added with, served with, offered with our heart, then Bhagavan will not wait. He will come quickly and grab all those offerings. Therefore, he is called as a hoarder, a grabber. He does not grab money. He does not grab land like how our politicians do. He grabs all our goodness, all our good thoughts, all our good attitudes, and all our offerings, that which is with bhakti alone. Underline. And therefore he is called Parigraha. Then we have this another wonderful nama, Ugraha. Ugraha. What is Ugraha? Now it is very interesting. The earlier nama Parigraha actually depicts how loving, how caring he is towards his bhakta. And suddenly Bhishma Pitamaha says, Ugraha. Bhagavan is Ugraha. What is Ugraha? Suryadinam api bhayahetutvat Ugraha. When it comes to, handling such a beautiful universe, he has to adapt himself to various emotions through which he can direct the Jivarashis. One particular mood, one particular emotion may not be sufficient. Like how in a house, children who are brought up, when they are brought up, the parents give them so much of love, so much of care, so much they accommodate in spite of the, perennial pain the children give to the parents. Still, in spite of what the children are, the parents love them, they accommodate them, they accept them as they are, though the children don't do it on the other side. Children always expect. Until they come to realize the sacrifices which the parents have given, the children actually always demand. They don't even work for the mother or the father many times. At home, they don't even clean one tumbler of a coffee tumbler or a tea tumbler, which is, they expect their mother to come and take it and clean. Think. How unintelligently we have grown up and still the parents accommodate. Is it not? However, we find at times the mother or the father towards the daughter or the son, or sometimes even to the old parents, if they become adamant, if they demand a lot, at that time they show some ugrata, they show some stern, reciprocation where they say, no, At that time they might show anger. With reference to children, they may even beat them. And in some cases, fathers, they take their belt and also beat them. With a stick they beat them. Teachers do that. They take a cane and they hit. These days, if they do, then they will be sued in the court. But for what do they do? Our irresponsible parents, unfortunately, file a case against the teacher who wanted to tame the rakshasic buddhi, animalistic buddhi of the child, tame them so that they become a better citizens. But today, the society has become so bad that such treatment to the wrong behaviors are wrongly dealt with. But they are required. These treatments are required for what? To tame the animalistic mind. Think. Param Pujya Gurudev would say, don't hate the sinner, hate the sin. Think. The sinner by himself, left alone, has nothing to play with. But the sins are born out of desire, again born out of avidya. These three, avidya, kama, karma, is very, very important. Avidya causes kama, kama leads to karma, and karma leads to karma phala, and karma phala leads to the whole cycle of birth and death. Therefore, to bring in knowledge, to bring in the right attitude, to bring in the right behaviors, born out of right attitudes, one has to take to certain stern measures. Even the traffic police, today it has become a joke because everybody crosses the signal even before it comes to green, and they look at the police and police stand so helplessly. Therefore, harsh fines have to be put in. For what? To tame those irresponsible citizens of the city. Think. Therefore, ugrata is required for making the entire universe work properly. Entire nation work properly. Entire state, family, everything, if it has to work properly, this ugrata occasionally is required. Anger is required. But as Gurudev would say, anger must be kept in the pocket like the pen, well capped. When it is required, remove the pen, remove the cap, uncap the pen, write whatever you want to, recap and put it back in its place. Our ugrata is totally different. Our ugrata is so much, we take it to heart and we even give shapa. Not that it is going to work anyway. We are not that pure heart souls like Parashurama, etc., for us to give shapa and things like that, and then it will not happen and all. So therefore, people who have such ideas, please refrain from all such this one. Instead, you can educate yourself. I become angry for no fault of mine. At the same time, anger is required for certain corrections. This is very, very important. When anger is shown for corrections and not to establish my ego, not to establish my power, not to establish my potentials, think, anger is required. Therefore, Bhagavan also has played lot of roles showing anger. Please note, there are two different things. One is becoming angry, two, showing anger. Becoming angry is when I punish myself for no fault of mine or the fault of others. But showing anger is a manner of showing my love towards that person for his or her good. Therefore, anger is accepted. Anger should be accepted. Anger must be shown. But we should know where to show the anger and to what degree anger should be shown. How should it be expressed? How long should it be there? Parampuja Gurudev, when he showed anger, we were all scared. The next moment we will become bhasma. To that extent we were angry. But within a flip of a moment you will find him smiling, happily, talking to all his devotees or we brahmacharis when we were with him. That ksanamatram, it communicated what it was to communicate, and the next moment he again communicates that it is love that he has and not anger. This is how we deal with anger. Bhagavan also has dealt with anger. You take any avatar of Bhagavan. Bhagavan, even Ramchandraji, with all, proper way of, conducting, even at the last moment giving an opportunity for the opponent, for the other side to change their mind and become good. He gives all opportunities. But once he takes the bow, once he takes the bow to shoot, then he shoots with such power. Jimmy Amoga, Bhagavan's Bana is so fast, so amogha, and it will reach its target. Come what may. And it will return back to Bhagavan. Look at that. Again Bhagavan is cool. Therefore, anger has to be used. It is within Bhagavan, anger is there. And what is the opposite of ugrata? Saumyata. Bhagavan is also Saumya Rupa. He is both Ugra Rupa, he is also Saumya Rupa. It is like the ocean. The ocean, the under columns of the water are so quiet, so undisturbed, so powerful, so wealthy. But the top layer of the same ocean, sometimes with only foams, sometimes with only ripples, sometimes a beautiful wave touching our feet when we stand there, and sometimes shooting on the rocks which are there and rising to some heights. And when we go further deep into the ocean, you will find the ocean sometimes at such rough weather. Huge ships also sink. Similar is Bhagavan. He is Ugra Rupa when it comes to straightening certain people. Rakshasas in particular. At the same time, he is also Saumya Rupa, where he accommodates people with love, care, compassion, etc. Therefore, having said that, the Acharya here writes, Suryadinamapi. Even to Surya. Who is Surya? He is a fireball. But how does he show that akrosha or that fire? It is only because of the blessings of Bhagavan. At the same time, however heat he may generate, however fire it may be, he surrenders at the feet of Bhagavan. Bhagavan can bring in fear even to Suryadi Devataha. We have seen in our Purana Kathas, Surya, Indra, Varuna, etc. Kenopanishad starts with Yaksha Prashna. Keneshitam patati preshitam manaha, kena prana prathama praiti yuktaha. And then finally the Devatas come to understand this Yaksha is none other than Bhagavan, who has come to change our mind and remove our ahankara. Therefore, Bhagavan's Ugra Rupa has to be respected and understood. Saumya Rupa also has to be accepted and understood. Suryadinam api. Even to Surya Devata, Bhagavan Bhayahetutvat, he can create fire. Samvatsaraha, another very beautiful nama. Samvasanti bhutani yasmin iti samvatsaraha. This is one meaning, and the most popular meaning what we all know is the time, the segment of time which is 1 year is also samvatsaraha. Like now we are running through Plavanama Samvatsara, 1 year. But why is Bhagavan called as Samvatsaraha? Vasanti bhutani asmin. Asmin meaning what? In Bhagavan, all the beings reside at the end. They take recourse at the feet of Bhagavan. Tulsidas ji writes, Jaun kaha? Where will I go? Teji tumar charan. Where will I go? Leaving your feet. Very beautifully he writes, Jaun kaha teji charan tumhari. Therefore, once we reside ourselves at his feet, he takes care. Because the whole Jivarashis at the end of their turn go and rest in Bhagavan. Either when it is Pralaya or when the Jivan Mukti takes place, where we rest is at his feet alone. Therefore, Vasanti. Vasanti meaning what? Residing. Taking recourse to or recourse at. Samyak Vasanti. Completely reside in Bhagavan's Pada Bhutani Asmin iti Samvatsaraha. The next nama, a very, very, very beautiful nama, Dakshaha. I am not sure how many of you have watched those series of talks on Tattva Bodha. When we took up Tattva Bodha, which is available in our YouTube channel, the first 2-3 classes we dealt very elaborately on this. What is the purpose of Atma Jnanam? The purpose of Atma Jnanam are of 5 in nature. Jignasa nivrittihi, Vidyananda praptihi, Karpanya nivrittihi, Aghata nivrittihi, and finally Dakshata praptihi, we said. What is that? Jignasa nivrittihi, end of, or rather freedom from curiosity. As long as we have not got the Atma Jnana, everything becomes curious and therefore we want everything. Atma Jnana removes all this curiosity because everything is nothing but me alone. Therefore, Jignasa nivrittihi. Vidyananda praptihi. Anandaha born out of Vidya. Jnanam praptihi. So Atma Jnana gives Ananda through Vidya. Vidya means what? Jnanam. Karpanya nivrittihi. Karpanya nivrittihi, that restless and knowing what will happen further, those anxieties, nivrittihi, because there is nothing to achieve, there is nothing to gain, there is nothing to lose. One reason is there is nothing to achieve because everything is me alone. There is nothing to lose because there is nothing required for me. What should I lose? Kaupinavantaha kalubhagyavantaha, we said yesterday. Meaning what? The one who has nothing is the most happiest person. Khalu bhagyavantaha. Therefore, when I don't have anything, with reference to Vishaya, how much ever acquire, it is of no use. How much ever I lose, there is nothing that we have lost actually. Therefore, Karpanya nivrittihi, Aghata nivrittihi. What is Aghata? Because of that, having lot of physical problems, emotional problems, stress and strain, friction in the family, in the society, in the nation. Now look at the trouble we have between Russia and Ukraine and America. They are almost heading to another third world war as such. Caused by what? Again, honestly speaking, Ahankara. Think. Aghata. Now it will create so much of calamity. For some small little people's ego satisfaction, whole entire world has to suffer. Think. Therefore, aghata nivrittihi. Once I gain this knowledge, all these becomes mine. Vasudhaiva kutumbakam. Shastra say. Isn't it? And the final one is dakshata praptihi. What is this dakshata praptihi? We had earlier made a clear indication. What is that? Efficiency, alertness, vigilance, dexterity in our actions. All these put together, capacities, abilities, everything put together, all positive virtues of human life put together and leading towards success in every field of activity is called dakshata. To go and achieve that particular dakshata, we require to work towards it. And what is the work there? Jijñāsa nivrittihi, vidyananda praptihi, aghata nivrittihi, karpanya nivrittihi. All these, when it is gone, when we gain the knowledge, with dakshata, knowledge also can give us the ultimate reality. Acharya here writes, Sarva karmani kshipram karoti. Look at that very interesting word. Kshipram karoti iti va dakshaha. It is not that Bhagavan has got all the, of course he has got everything. Otherwise, how can this creation be possible? We don't have to every time again take because the creation is like this. We all know. But look at that word. Kshipram karoti sarva karmani. Kshipram means swiftly, immediately. No procrastination, no postponing, waiting for the last moment. Very many of us postpone lot of our work like that. हाँ देखेंगे बाद में. Nodana. Like our Kamarajari, Agatum Parkalam. Of course, it has a different meaning there with reference to him. But Agatum Parkalam, meaning what? Let us see later. Think. And then we keep on postponing. I keep often repeating this statement. Don't postpone things to the 11th hour. You might die at 10:55. Think. This procrastination of any particular work actually reduces that intensity in us, that fervor in us to gain, to achieve. Think. Anything that is postponed loses its intensity, loses its value. Therefore, every work must be taken immediately. That is why we often hear, what is to be done tomorrow, do it today. What is to be done today, do it now. And Gurudev was very interesting. Gurudev used to give the committee members or the staff some work. And somebody asked Gurudev, Swamiji, when do you want this? So that they want to give it on time. So when do you want this? Is there some time for me to work? Could be the reason. Gurudev said, yesterday. Meaning what? It is already late. You can't delay it further. Do it now. Kshipram karoti. Bhagavan also never postpones in a manner of saying. Why do I say in a manner of saying? Whenever there is destruction to be caused, though it may deserve, yet he postpones. In Ramayana we have seen, when the whole Vanarasena reaches Lanka, even at that time, straight away they don't go and fight Ravana. Bhagavan gives Ravana another opportunity to surrender and save Lanka. Earlier, Hanumanji was sent. Once the Vanarasena reaches Lanka, Angada is sent again to show Ravana that we are capable. We can win over you. We can destroy Lanka. We can destroy the whole Rakshasa Parampara. Still, there is an opportunity. If you want to save Lanka, people, Rakshasas and yourself, then even now it is not too late. Just go fall at the feet of Rama and Sharanagati, go and surrender. And once you surrender, you say, Bhagavan, Kshamasva, that is enough. The whole hard disk, which has got all bad karmas of Ravana, will be completely wiped out. Control, Alt, Delete. Meaning what? Bhagavan is so good that he will wipe out all our past karmas if we sincerely surrender at the feet of Bhagavan. This capacity to give time for us to become, awakened to our own limitations and wake up to the higher call. This ability is given to us through what? With that virtue called Dakshata by Gurudev, by Bhagavan, and both are same. And while giving us that Dakshata, he will make us realize our faults. He will give us the ability to mold ourselves, modify ourselves, transform ourselves. And once that is done, Bhagavan gives us all capacities and abilities for us to march forward. When man takes one step towards God, God takes 10 steps towards man. But the first step has to be taken by man, woman included. Think. When we put in our effort, Bhagavan's blessing is to increase our ability. That is the blessing. This he never waits. He never says, okay, let him come another 23 times to the temple. Let him attend another 100 satsang. Then I will see. No. The moment we surrender, tat kshanam, he will wipe away all our past. This ability of accepting, accommodating, and at the same time giving the right direction without wasting time. Kshipram karoti iti dakshaha. Vishramaha, another very beautiful word. It has a long explanation. Here, sometimes Acharya Shankara also cannot curtail. I'll tell you what is this all about. Whenever a bhashya has to be written, then the bhashyakar has certain limitations. He cannot cross that limitation. And what is the strict adherence? Take a word, explain the word. Full stop. No commentaries are to be given actually. Therefore, whenever bhashya has to be taken, Acharya Shankara is tied down. Why? He being a tremendous poet. Think, a beautiful poet. He is unable to express his ability. He is unable to express his capacity. He is unable to express his potential. However, at times you will find Acharya cannot curtail himself and one or two just pops up. The bhashya for this nama is something like that. As poetic as he can be, beautifully he has explained Vishramaha. Probably this is one of the reasons why, since he cannot express himself as Bhashyakar of Upanishads or Bhagavad Gita or the Brahma Sutras, the Prasthanatraya, he wrote elaborately, beautifully. He took his own sweet time and he expressed the complete Vedanta in the beautiful book called Viveka Chudamani. Viveka Chudamani is a commentary by itself. At the same time, it has the beauty of, you can say the Kavya, Sahitya, all these are beautifully brought into one textbook, Viveka Chudamani by Acharya Shankara, who let loose himself and brought the entire capacity of his poetry, of his explanation of what? Of the same Supreme. And here is one. Vishramaha means Viramaha, we have seen earlier. Viramaha we have seen. Vishrama is also what? Rest. Rest meaning what? Completely quietened. What? Our own mind. Now look at that expression. Viramam karoti. He gives a full stop. He gives a full stop meaning what? He puts a full stop by giving what? Moksham, liberation. Moksham, liberation, when he gives, samsara is over. There is no more samsara. In fact, we come to understand there was never a samsara. This ahankara, jiva, never existed. Think, when we cross, when we glide into the other side, until then, we are excellent, proficient dreamers. Some people dream only at night. Some people dream during the day. Some people dream all the time. Isn't it? And what happens in the dream? Look at that. Avidyadi urmiha kleshaihi. He takes away. Takes away meaning what? He brings us at his feet and gives us that rest. By what? Not by only pulling us from that samsara sagara, but also making us understand. Kleshaihi. What is kleshaihi? Avidyadi. Avidya, kama, karma. Now what is that serial there? Avidya leads to kama. Kama leads to karma. Karma, karma phala, samsara. We just saw in the previous this one also. Avidya is what? Ignorance. What is ignorance? Ignorance of my true nature, and it is not this body, mind and intellect. This objective world, drishya prapancha, cannot be truth. Why it cannot be truth? Trikala abhadita vastu yat trikaleshu tishtati tat satyam. And none of these remain. It disappears, it comes. It disappears, it comes. Very many times things disappear once and for all. Is it not? Klesha. Avidyadi urmiha kleshaihi madadi bihi. What is madadi bihi? Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, shadvairinaha. Madadi bihi upakleshaischa. First klesha is avidya. Second is the set of group of 6, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, madha, matsarya, madadibihi upakleshaischa vashikritanam. What is vashikritanam? The one who has been caught, who has been filled with what? Avidyadi urmiha kleshaihi madadibihi upakleshaischa. All of them have caught. Whom? Individual, jiva. Therefore, vashikritanam jivanam vishrantam kangshatam. Now, very beautiful word. Vishrantim kangshatam. What is that vishrantim kangshatam? The one who is desire of quietude. One who wants rest and relaxation from what? The wild goose chase of life. And what is that? Samsara sagare. In this whole ocean of samsara, tarangite. What is tarangite? The huge waves. Now remember when I talked about Ugra, I said, in the silent columns of the water under the ocean, everything is saumyata. There is a beauty in that. Quiet, collected, composed. But at the top level, Ugrata is seen. And what are we? We are still at the superficial level. Therefore, the Ugrata of the Sagara, we are tossed hither and thither. Helter, shelter we go. Pillar to post we run. For what? Quietude, Shanti, Prashanti Nilayam, where Shanti itself may not be there. Think. We have so many people having so many names. Prashanti Nilayam, Shanti Nivasa. And if you go inside, you can't stay there even for 2 minutes. Think. But Bhagavan, Tarangite Samsara Sagare Kshutpipasadi Shadurmibhihi. Kshutpipasadi meaning what? Kshud. Pipasa. Kshud means hunger. Pipasa, thirst. Kshutpipasadi shadurmibihi. Again, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. Shad urmibihi tarangite moksham karoti. How beautiful, isn't it? Samsara sagare kshutpipasadi shadurmibihi tarangite avidyadi urmaha kleshaihi madadibihi upakleshaischa vashikritanam. Then the next 2 words is the most important. Underline those 2 words. Vishrantim kangshatam. The one who wants rest. How many of us want rest? Tell me. If you honestly look at it, we are delighted and deflated. We are elated and deflated. And we are tossed hither and thither, and we find that small pleasure being tossed. Think. And in case tomorrow suddenly Narayana comes and says, okay, come, let's go. I'll give you Shanti, you come. We are not ready. Think. Because our samsara bandhana is so strong. Even Bhagavan is helpless, please. Therefore, Acharya says, Vishrantim kangshatam, to those who want only rest at the feet of the Lord. Vishramam, which is otherwise called moksham, otherwise called liberation, karoti iti vishramaha. He will liberate us. Therefore, he is called Vishramaha. And then, now, since it was long, I have given the Samskrita here and then English. One who gives rest and relief, respite and relaxation to the... Here, liberation is actually not physically mentioned. Why? We will take rest and go back also. We are that kind of people. Because our samsara bandhana is so strong, we will take, Swami, Bhagavane, please help me, all that we cry, and then suddenly we turn and see what? Whether the chappal is there outside in the temple or somebody has knocked it off. This is our mind. Therefore, Acharya very beautifully says, rest and relief, respite and relaxation to those who are entangled in the ocean of samsara, tossed about by the waves of hunger, thirst, grief, confusion, old age and death, suffering with pride, suppression, depression, frustration, fatigue. You can take a thesaurus book and add, and all that put together is that. Think. Vishramaha, Vishwadakshinaha. He is Vishwasmat Dakshinaha Shaktaha, the one who has the Dakshata, then the whole Vishwa, he is the best among all of one who is skillful than everyone else. And Vishweshu Karmasu Dakshinyadva Vishwadakshinaha, one who is efficient, proficient, capable in every single karma. No flaw, flawless. And therefore he is called Vishwadakshinaha, the best among the whole universe. With this, the 45th shloka concludes. We will take up 46th tomorrow. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.